If you wanna stay with me, if you wanna try, maybe you could be with me, but only for the night.
Good evening. Welcome to the Anime Analyst. I am your host, Thomas Fry.
And I'm your co-host Hasnan Zaidi.
And we are coming to you from Florida and the U.S. and Lahore, Pakistan. We are on the opposite sides of the freaking world, on the opposite sides of the clock, and this is our Labor Day special. We'll be talking about that time I got reincarnated as a slime tonight. We're going to go over all 3 seasons, but none of the movies. We're going to leave them out because you can just only talk about so much in so much amount of time, and we're not even going to worry about how far we get into season 3 because if we need an extra show, we can always do it. Now, tonight's a 30-minute episode, and it is, I'd almost say brought to you by, but Crunchyroll ain't giving us no money, but we are using Crunchyroll to watch the anime, and we're using Crunchyroll to go over this. Now, we are also broadcasting to a new YouTube channel in Pakistan. We are broadcasting to Facebook, and we are broadcasting to, I think, my initial my personal Facebook page because I couldn't figure out how the settings all worked in time. So we're kind of all over the place tonight, but don't worry about it. We'll get it all sorted out. If you're new with us tonight, then welcome. Glad to see you. Looking forward to meeting you. So this ought to be interesting how this plays out in Pakistan, being it's 4 o'clock in the morning right now where you're at, right?
Yes, right.
So,
It's 4 a.m.
yeah, 4 a.m. So how many, if you ever thought about, and we'll get to reincarnate as a slime here real quick, but now I got this question. How many people do you think are actually up right now? Because I know, like, your schedule is always this way because you work with a lot of Americans and you have to work during American business hours, so you really don't have a choice. But would you say there's a
Yeah,
lot of people over there that do that?
yeah. I think it is like the nightlife here in Pakistan is good. Like even the city Lahore, they say it never sleep. So like if
Ah,
we go at this time, there would be too many restaurants, too many people. They will be sitting there with friends, and so it's quite. But the people that like are in working, like who work in the government or the schools or that, they will be sleeping. But most of the students, they will be awake at this time.
it,
And most of the people here also, like they work with different countries. Like some are working with Australia, some work with UK, some work with America. So everybody has a different schedule.
oh man, that would be hard to stay up with. Ah, the town I'm in, they at 5 o'clock they roll up the sidewalks. At 11 o'clock they roll up the main road. They stick it all in a garage and bring it out the next day. I've been out at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's like, and we have 25,000 people in town, so it's not like really small. But there's like 3 gas stations open. You know the Wawa, the racetrack, and 7-Eleven or Circle K, and that's it. Everything else closed. They do not do 20. We do not do 24 hours, but there's a lot of cities over here that do. So anyway, I digress. Let's get started. So scene 1, episode 1, series 1 is where our little friend, our little slime, gets woken up after he gets stabbed to death. And where, as you were mentioning earlier, we were talking before the show, and we were cracking on, throw my computer in the, destroy my hard drive, destroy my hard drive. Um, so in this first episode, then he comes and he realizes he's reincarnated and he's disappointed that he's a slime, not knowing that 3 seasons later or 2 seasons later, he's going to be a demon lord, which is one of the top 8 characters in this world. And he starts out as a lowly slime. And what made me love this series right from the get-go is when he first met Valdora. And
Yes.
his eyes pop out of his head. He's freaking out. Oh my God, this is a dragon and I'm a slime. I'm like one step
Yeah,
in.
and I think that Veldora is the one that allow him the weekend. Like before that, he was just traveling in the dark and
Right.
eating some things there.
He couldn't
But
even
when
speak
he,
before he met Valdora. Valdora helped him speak, and but it was Valdora being in that cave, just dripping magicules everywhere, that gave him his initial power, and gave him a tremendous amount of magicules build up, in his slime stomach, as he would say, and then making friends and, becoming friends, and then them naming each other made. Now, the only question I got to ask about on this episode, and it's why I wanted to bring it up, normally when you see them later naming things, they're taking magicules from them, right? He named Valdora in the beginning. So by all rights, shouldn't he tried to double his magic power to when naming Valdora? Or is it only because he only gave him his last name and Valdora gave him his first name, Rimuru? Remember, his last name was Tempest, so he
yes,
only gave Valdora his last name.
yeah, and because in the season as they go forward, they show that naming somebody take huge amount of power, and like he was giving names to the guys, and then he fell asleep. But when he woke up and he can see the old goblin has turned into a huge bodybuilder, and the wolf has become a unicorn with the horn in the head. And then they show that if he gave somebody a name, their level became up.
Yeah, that was kind
It's
of
about to be.
surprised. You're naming people, no one tells you. All of a sudden, you run out of magic fuel and you sleep for 3 days rebuilding. That coincides with every other anime out there, and also in reference to in the world of anime. Remember we were talking a couple shows back about the rule. The world rules are set, and every writer basically follows these rules. When you name a creature, you have to give up half your magic power. And they may use different names, but it's all and I know I'm gonna get blasted for this comparison, but if you look at, like, all right, how many different Bibles are there in the world, and how many different stories they say about all these different stories and all these different religions. And if you look back and look at them, and I spent 10 years studying the Bible, and this is when I learned this, that they're all the same. Other than the names of the people, the stories are the same. And it's the same thing in anime, and I know what a comparison, right? But the world in all these different animes, for most part, I would say 90% of animes, the rules are the rules for the world. And then you write your story within those set of rules, and you get all your different animes. Now, you brought us up to episode 3. So then he meets the dwarves and he gets the Hero King to back. That's his first backer of him building his world that he wants to build, where humans and monsters can get along. And that premise is the beginning of what, all the way up through season 3 episodes. I think, what are we at, 60 now? I have to go look. But it's the same. Now they just keep building characters, but Rimuru's world that he's building keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So you are going to have to bring in, I mean, if you thought about, you wanted to really do something like this, that's how it's going to be. But the cool part about this anime is, even in pick any episode you want in any season, and you'll find it's the same thing. They don't vary from the main storyline, the main plot. It's always the same. And I always wonder, when they, they did season 2, I thought it was over. Now all of a sudden they come out season 3, I'm like, well, where are they going to go that they haven't already gone in season 2? And they found a whole another mess of direction to go that still fits in that main storyline. If you normally 12 episodes is a season. Now with this, 24 is a season.
Yes.
Yeah. Now my question is, and I have to click on this while I can. Okay. All right, they're at 22 episodes in season 3, which is overall is episode 68. I knew it was up there. And I like how they've done this. Even though they call a season 24 episodes, they're listing these in order from the beginning without changing them. They just doing a continuation. And because the story is a continuation from the beginning, I like how they are. I like how they wrote this. I like how they did this. Now, did you watch all the OVA between 1 and 2 and the Hey Butts thing and all that? Have you got a chance to see that yet?
Oh, I didn't get it.
Okay, after season 1, they have a whole series. It's about 5 episodes, AOD. Okay, it's all extra stuff. I didn't know if it's on out there where you're at. And they did the butt sumo is on there. How they come up with, like, what kind of weed is the dude smoking that's writing this story? It's got me cracking up from the beginning to the end, and at every 12 episodes they do a digression. They take a different character and kind of go over the whole story up to that point of that person's perspective. And that's something else that you see in this anime that you don't see in the other animes, is you get multi-character view of everything that just happened in the last short while. I guess we'll call it a season release, because they would do, with this one, they do 12 episodes, it would go through the break, and then it would continue on with more episodes, and they've continually done that through all.
And I think they did one more thing, like in the start of season 2, when they show the recap of the season 1. Yeah, I don't think the other animes do things like that.
No,
And
they don't.
I was looking at someone on YouTube who do the recap thing, and on the thing he said, okay, so they took my job. Like,
Oh, well, then he needs to watch our show, because we'll show him. We'll show him how to get through when they do stuff like that. All that is it's giving you a multi-perspective, prismatic view of the story, and that to me is a great thing. Because the second episode of season 2, they go Reamer's busy life, where they get they take him in a day in the life of. it's like they are borrowing things from all over, all different, whether it be TV shows or, other venues, not just anime, on how you present it. It's one, the only thing I will say, and I don't know if you do this, but I do it. I don't watch. Now, I've watched this whole thing subtitled, and I will watch them subtitled, but I wait for them when I watch it to come out dubbed. This last season 3, the second part, where we're at now, I'll watch them up there, but then I make sure to go back as they're each being dubbed and watch them that way, because when you get these animes that have really long conversations, and where was it in season 1 or season 2 where they're all sitting around in the outdoor pavilion, and it's just explaining one thing after another of how this world is getting built. Okay, it's season 2. The meetings of humans and monsters, where they're all sitting around talking about,
They're
what's
making the alliance, and when they're making the alliance with together and
yes.
part.
And that's when he names that he wants, oh crap, now I forget his name, when he wants him to become the king of Falmouth. And I can't pronounce the new name that they've changed the name of Falmouth, because they succeeded in doing that, but the new name, I can't pronounce that. And I gotta remember, we really should hold off and not talk about the second half of season 3, because that's still new and people haven't seen the episodes yet. So we will stop at about episode 36. We won't talk past that. Actually, we can go all the way up into season 3, because season 2 ends with Octogram. And poor Rimuru, he gets bailed in, because he can name things. Everything that he does now, he ends up being the one that has to name it. It's like,
Yeah.
you're the one that has the creativity, so now you're gonna name everything that we run across. Did you think when he became a demon lord that he was gonna successfully bring all his 100 friends that got killed in the Falmouth attack? Did you think that he was going to be able to reanimate them and make them normal?
I thought that, because when he found out that there is a way he can bring them back,
But it was
and because he lost,
3.14%. It was a very low, it was pi. He had a pi chance in hell of getting it. I thought that they would go somewhere else, that it would fail. And then after it happened, I went back and watched it 2-3 times, later, 2 or 3 times after I watched it multiple times. And then I realized, I'm like, yeah, I kind of missed that one. It gives you hints and clues that's gonna, that was gonna happen. They skipped over some things, in the first part of season 3 that I wish they wouldn't have. I wish they would have went into more detail about building the city and, creating the force field that goes over all their roads. And, they went into a little bit of detail, but I, I'm a I'm an engineer type personality. I like to take stuff apart, see how it works, and if I can fix it, put it back together. I've always fixed my own vehicles throughout my whole life. I'm curious about that, and you get that in season 1, and you get that to the most part in season 2, and then the world almost starts building so fast.
But I think they didn't follow that thing because as the seasons go by and the stories, they're getting too many characters getting into the storyline. Like when on the first episode he's just with the dragon, Valdora, and on the next episode he's like with three, four other characters, and on every like in the season
Well, the
one and
first
season
one
two, like they're
Valdora,
getting
second one goblins, third one dire wolves, fourth one was the
guards.
Cajun, um, and every episode in the beginning they had to add one, but I don't know. I mean, they built a whole city out of this. It's gonna take meetings. It's gonna take you have to cross unless they only would have stuck with what was going on in Tempest, but they're showing what Rimuru is trying to do around the world and how it's starting to gain traction. It's because if they go one more season, there won't be nothing else on the map that needs to be colored in that'll be an ally of Tempest. I mean, and if you do that, that require it does it does take several watchings to keep up with all the characters and character development and adding in new ones. And but I mean, when you're a writer, you're doing an anime just on the developing the anime itself. I mean, to have to keep building and keep adding in more characters. Would you rather see like an offshoot anime and um oh, that time already. All right, so I will hold that question for about 3 or 4 minutes here. We got a little bit of noise in the background, so I am gonna carry it through. So what we'll do is when me and Hussein last talked, we were talking about octograms. So I will take you to the next step past octogram, and that would be Demons and Strategy. That would be where Black finally came in. He's been wanting to be, and he was back in season one, but you only got him for a few minutes. That he's one of the world class demons, which there's four of them. There's White, Rouge, Black, and so he got involved, and now you also have. I don't want to go past what would be the latter half of season 3 because I don't want to give anything away. But by time you get up here, you are getting to where the other character that was mentioned in season 1, Hinata Sakaguchi. You got to bring her into the mix also, which is going to bring Lubelius. It's going to bring the Holy Knights. It's going to bring, a whole nother country, I guess you could say, is going to come in on this. And now they did less fighting than I was expecting. I thought that would turn into a little bigger of a war, but I liked how they portrayed that, and I thought that the magic that was given to him that was given to the Kenai soldiers was pretty cool. They could attack all they want and get attacked and not die. They, magically were protected. Kind of like carrying around a shield that has a life rebuilder on it. If you get attacked while holding said shield, then you will not die. And that's an anime thing for you. We can do that because that's just what happens next. And
Okay, I'm back, and I think the people that are from my area they will understand like why we have to take a 3 minute break in the show.
oh, you want to go? You want to talk about that for a minute?
No, I think
Okay.
that's okay.
I missed what you said on that they would well, of course they'd understand it. They know what's
Yeah.
going on, but everybody in America or Australia or everywhere else around the world, um, where he's at, they have evening prayers and it's over a loudspeaker. You cannot turn it down. You cannot drown it out. The only thing we can do is turn off his mic for a few minutes till they get through their evening prayers. And no disrespect to that, we don't want to interfere with someone else's religion. So anyway, now I forgot the question I was asking you on. Do you remember what I was getting ready to ask you when that came up?
No, I think I skipped that.
All right,
Like I,
no big
like I,
deal.
like I.
That
No,
is
no, I think I go back. We'll go back, see the question from the recording, and then answer it some other time.
we'll get it tomorrow. We'll throw the answer to that question in. We'll throw that in tomorrow, and that way it'll be. Yeah, we'll be talking about something else completely. And oh yeah, I got your answer. But it. So if we want to summarize this anime, it's a town building experiment. If that kind of stuff bores you, then you may be off put by the amount of conversation they have, and it does get a little repetitive at the end of season 2, on all those meetings that they had, and when they were first making the Juris Tempest Federation, um, which I still don't understand where he got that name from. I'm like, he lived in Japan and he comes up with the Juris Tempest Federation. That's like the longest name you could have. But it's a city building anime, and they throw in enough fighting and action, I think, to keep it extremely interesting. And I like how they bring in the other characters, bring in a bunch of new characters without losing any of the old ones. They develop all those original ones from season 1 and 1 through episode 1 through 6. All those characters are still in this anime. They've been developed and grow, and although I'm not sure where they're heading with all these weddings and some of the silly stuff that they do, in the games that they play in there. I'm not sure where all that's headed, but we shall see. But I definitely like them building Tempest. I mean, I would like to see this go on for another 2 or 3 episodes, and I want to see them build their whole world. And it doesn't look like a large continent when you look at the map. I don't know if they're not showing more of it, if they're only in this one part. There are some questions left to be asked that, is another direction you can go. But I am an all thumbs up on this anime from beginning to end. And I just went back through over the last couple of weeks and all the other anime that I'm watching constantly. And sorry, I got tomorrow's warning 24 hours early, and I got to turn those off because they're annoying. I apologize for that. But in summarization, I like where this anime has gone from the beginning to the end. I've gone back, I've watched it 5 times now. It seems like every time they get another 12 episodes, I gotta watch the whole thing again. So now I've seen the first season 3-4 times, and I am still not bored. I'm still catching more and more. Because when he became a demon lord, those 5 or 6 episodes, I probably watched them 20 times. Literally have watched them 20 times because I thought that was so cool how they did that. I mean, and nobody's holding it against Rimuru that he wiped out 20,000 people in a battle with no remnants of any of them left. But I think he should take more credit for stuff when he does it than he does. He gives away too much. Like Hinata, he clearly beat her, and he says, "No, we'll, in the interest of being friends, we'll just call it a tie." And that's not the first time he's done that. But to me, Rimuru is a good guy. No, I cannot make a similarity among any real world politicians that I know, because lawyers and politicians, which most politicians are lawyers, how do you know when a politician's lying? When he's speaking. That's how you know when you're being lied to. When a politician's speaking, he is lying. So, I'm going to tell you, as an analyst of anime, I love this. I'm also, like I said earlier, we didn't go over the movies because I knew we wouldn't have enough time in 30 minutes, and it is Labor Day weekend, so we don't want to keep everybody tied up for too long. We did ask for 30 minutes. I appreciate you giving it that. Starting on the 9th of September, we are going to do a high dive week, where all week we're going to be watching animes from high dive, and a lot of people don't like high dive. To me, I still pay for them. I do like them. They don't bring out as many new ones as you would like, but they still got some really cool animes on there, and most definitely worth watching. Tomorrow night we go back to our regular format. We're through all the holiday season, so we will see you here tomorrow at 7. And over the course of the next 2 weeks, we are going to be adding new channels. We're going to be adding we got connected with Instagram. We got our Facebook groups built. We got all that stuff done. So we got to get everything connected. We're going to start releasing stuff on TikTok, Instagram. So if you can get a chance, check in and pick any video we have. Go to the description. You can get all our channel links. You can, if you're in America and want to learn about a little bit about Pakistan and what's going on there, or if you're in Pakistan and want to learn more about America, throw us some comments in and we'll do some extracurricular activities of the differences between the two countries. But I just wanted to update you on what we got coming up in the anime, and I love anime, so we will be reviewing them forever, hopefully. I want to, because I love watching them and I love talking about them. So we will catch you tomorrow night. You got anything else to add?
No, just about the anime, like the thing that I like about it, like we see the perspective from the view of a slime, like we were talking before, like every other, they don't like give any importance to a slime that much, but on this anime they started from a slime and now he's the demon lord.
By all
And
rights, a slime is a starter monster, and for a starter monster to become a demon lord, boy, you are right about that fact. When we were talking about that, yeah, I like that idea that you caught that perspective and caught that. I think it's an amazing that they, because the chances of another slime getting a live conscience probably won't ever happen. So Rimuru is definitely in a class by himself. So, all right, when season 3 is done, we'll do another show about the back half of season 3. So if you got any questions, you can bring them up to us then, and we will see you tomorrow. So have a good night. Enjoy your holiday weekend. And I am Thomas Fry. This is the Anime Analyst.
I am Hasnan Zadi.
And we will see you tomorrow.